What's up, beautiful people? In today's video we have got a full maintenance in my room. Yes, it's a little bit messy at the moment, but certain things do need cleaning. This isn't my every single day. I would say this is more like my every single week routine. I'll explain every single setup that I've got around here and what I have to do every single day, or if there's even things to do in the day. I'll be just explaining the routine, letting you guys know if you are to keep natural setups, how difficult they are to keep. In my opinion, they're the best things to keep, but you'll see in the video and you can maybe sort of judge that for yourself. But as always from me, peace and love, I'm out. There is one thing that I've forgotten to say in my intro, and all that was I hope you've all had a wonderful week. As you can imagine, this tank is pretty effortless for me. I do give it a mist down every 4 to 7 days. It's not exact, to be honest. It is just a rough 5 to 7 days. Food wise, I do generally just drop anything that I've got left over, or potential things that I may have run out of date, or any choppings from when I've been cooking and things. So everything in here does get a massive amount of food. And also at the same time, they get the usual sugar snaps and additional proteins. I normally give this a really good cut down every around 2 weeks. I will cut it every week, or what I'll do mainly is, as I'm missing it down, I'll just snap a few branches off, or things like that as I'm going. I don't tend to get my scissors out and do it. I just sort of snap them by hand. The other thing I've added in here is some fruit beetles as well recently. So they are the Passionoda grubs, or beetle grubs. So I can't wait for those to develop into beetles, and then obviously we'll be able to see them alongside this. And recently I've added those giant African millipedes in here. I have noticed more recently though that I have generally been sticking to adding different fruits and veg in, and also at the same time now and then I'll add one of those antimatter feeders in with some snaps. I have also been using large bones or chicken when I've been cooking. All that I need to make sure is I don't have any additional things in the chicken when I cook it, and I do just generally cook a chicken in a bag, and any leftovers I can put in here, especially for Sunday roasts. Other than that, the ants get more than enough food generally throughout the whole tank. Everything they can predate on, and also at the same time pick up here and there the things that I drop in. This is my dart frog Paludarium. I do give it a cut down every, I'd say, 2 weeks. In terms of spraying it down, I spray it down or mist it every single day. I don't use auto mist systems. I do like to mist these down by hand because I like to see everything that's going on in the actual full setup itself. And again, the reason being is because yesterday I actually noticed while I was making this video, or this video was being edited, they'd actually laid a bunch of frog spawn, which I will show you now. And yes, I will be making a separate video on how to raise the frog spawn. But this tank in general is just a pleasure to have inside my animal room. It is beautiful to look at. When you spray it down, it smells beautiful, and honestly it smells delicious. Just like having a walk through the forest on a rainy day, it really is satisfying to be in here. The plants themselves are going crazy, especially that Ficus pumila. I will and generally will be cutting that down when I cut this down. Other than that, I will be cutting down some of that pothos at the back. And then just a massive spray down. I spray this down heavily every day. If the water level is slightly high, I will give it a lighter spray down, knowing that it has been sprayed well the day before. But generally the water does evaporate enough for me to have the ability to spray it down nicely every single day. Then we move on to the things that aren't so bioactive, but they are things within my daily maintenance. I don't show everything like my isopods. I will be doing a separate video for isopod maintenance. I did my isopod care video, but I'll also be doing the isopod maintenance. First thing is taking out the trash, or taking out any carcasses or things that they no longer need. I will then just check that sugar feeder, make sure that it still looks healthy. I'll then add a fresh pre-killed piece of waxworm or cricket or cockroach, nymph, whatever it is, just a small piece of food for them. Once I put this food in, I then generally will leave it around 2 days. Once that's eaten, I'll take the rest out. Mites will be in your home, so just bear in mind in this time of the year, just every 2 days, make sure you take it out and replace it with some fresh food. That way, you definitely won't be getting those ferretic mites, those horrible white ones we all don't like the look of. On Polyrachis, it's a fairly similar thing, apart from the only difference on this one is I just spray the corner ever so slightly, give the oil a recoating, and then obviously a little bit of protein, and I put that back on there. This setup in particular does have isopods and springtails, however. MYRMICA rubida is again similar thing, just taking all that gravel or piece of dirt they've stuffed in there so it constantly leaks out, a little bit of a mist down, and then I put some more sugar in and some more protein in. The MYRMICA rubida are doing really well. I kind of hope they'd have done a little bit better. They're not as fast as I would have liked to breed or reproduce, but you know, there's no point rushing it. End of the day, these things can go slow, especially coming towards winter. They'll all be going into hibernation, and I know for a fact everything is slowing down. Even my SCUTELLARIS here, they are slowing down massively, I've noticed now. Although there's not many on the surface, I can tell the numbers are still there. I move that slightly and you can just see how crazy they respond to me because they're all inside there. It's bonkers. I absolutely love these ladies. If you haven't seen any of these updates or these setups that are all on my channel, if the algorithms brought you here. Now is a good time though to remind you to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos or loads of videos on bioactive setups and building terrariums or paludariums, vivariums, whatever it is. It's here on the channel. My maculatus, they are also just like my SCUTELLARIS. They eat all of the isopods. I have tried to introduce some dairy cows and some standard Porcellio scabies at the same time, but they killed them all off. They do great though, a little mist down and also a little bit of protein every single 3 days. And again, after 2 days, I'll remove it. The following day, I'll put some more protein in. Now we've got my Trapjaw Island Paludarium. Every single week, I wipe the glass down. Algae doesn't grow too much because of those floating plants, but I will be making sure I take more of those out over time because the colony is now booming. All I do then is top that water level up, and that's pretty much about it for that area for now. The Trapjaws themselves, I don't feed these sugar whatsoever. I have never fed these sugars since they first got introduced into the setup, and I haven't fed them any sugars at all since. I give them 3 waxworms every couple of days, 2-3 days, generally not 2, but I'd say, you know, more 3 days. And, you know, I do have reminders set, so it is normally religiously every 3 days. But it doesn't take them long for them to get them down to the nest. The first one I do drop down, and then the other 2 I just put out in the open for them to come out and scout and kill the rest. But they do get dropped or dragged into that nest hole pretty much straight away. And unfortunately that is the end for this waxworm. It's currently getting grabbed by the face as the other one's pulling it down and this one's just steering it in. And unfortunately for the waxworm, that is the end of the line for it. And you can see with this colony, there's just no chance it's surviving. Absolute 0 chance any of those waxworms are coming out of there alive. All I do next is give this a really nice mist down. I do on every single section or the 2 islands. Remember, these islands are composed of 5 large vases. So what I do is I will hold it directly over where the vases start, and then that way I can kind of gauge how much mist or spray I'm putting into each vase to make sure that there's still enough moisture within that to keep the ants satisfied, and also at the same time enough moisture for the brood or development of the eggs. And then of course I clean down the glass at the front. I actually have generally been avoiding cleaning the glass at the sides and at the back because I will be moving this tank soon into my garage, where obviously I'll be making my new animal room and moving everything from here into the other one where it's going to be a playroom. So, and I know you're thinking, well, why don't you just wipe the whole thing? I know, but I also want to put different backs on. I want to change it slightly, and you'll see it's not going to change the tank. I love the design, but you'll see what I mean at the time. Another thing inside my animal room is this mini indoor pond planter. It's not really bioactive, I guess, but I just wanted to show it anyway. I've got this little peak hole. I've removed the floating plants and just feed them a couple of koi sticks. I've just got guppies in there. The immersed plant growth, however, is really, really nice, and I do like that. And the flamingo flower is starting to get nice bright pink leaves coming up, so I can't wait for those. Now for the Polyrhachis dives. I haven't actually touched this tank in 3 weeks, 4 weeks since I set it up. By the time this video is released, it'll be 6 weeks, so you know, it'll be a little bit further away. But I am slightly ahead on videos, so this will have been 6 weeks since I set it up, but it was 4 weeks at the time of trimming it down. Generally, all I'm doing is getting those tiny little plants out of the moss, wiping the glass and showing you on the front there how the dives have actually nested within the black rim of the setup itself. So they didn't decide to nest in the soil or in that tree I wanted them, but they've actually decided to nest inside the black trim of the setup. Don't forget to join the Discord server. There's a lot of other people on there just like yourselves who keep animals and anything like that, bioactive setups, and at the same time a great community of people who are willing to give good advice and become friends at the same time. But if you did like the video, remember to smash that like button, subscribe if you do want to see more videos from this channel, and hit that bell icon so you get all the notifications. As always from me, peace and love, I'm out.